Hi, Best Buds. It's Cathy with Cathy's Garden, and I'm so happy that you've joined me today. Today we're going to use a paper pad, the Paper Studio True Blue, and I just showed you a flip through of what these papers look like. I took a few of the pages out, and I coffee dyed the back of the pages. It takes coffee really well, and it does nothing to the print on the front. I have a half a page here, and I have another half a page in the blue. I love this paper pad. Now, we're going to be using one of the pages. This is cardstock. We're only going to be using a half of this page. So it's 12 by 12. So we're going to cut this in half. So it's going to be 6 by 12. After you cut it, it's going to look like this. What we want to do is we want to fold over the right-hand side approximately 3 inches. So I'm going to fold it here. I'm looking for my bone folder. I found it, and I'm just going to crease it well. Then we're going to roll the page so it's flush up with the edge of the one we just folded. So I'm going to fold it just like this. And then we're going to fold this page over so it's like that. So now we have something that looks just like this. Folds, keeps folding out. If I can get it, there we go. Now, we're going to take one of the sides. It doesn't matter. Now, maybe if you have an up and down pattern, you would prefer to use one end or the other. It doesn't matter on this one. I can just fold any end. And I'm going to fold this down approximately, I think it's going to be like, well, let me fold it here and then I can tell you what it's going to be like. That is about 1 3/4 inches about. So now it looks like this. What I like is I do like the way inking looks, and it will help. What's going on with my voice? It will help you if I ink this up so you can see all the little folds here. Now, I actually have gone ahead and I have inked it all up and we're ready to go. This is where we folded it over and again. Now, you're at this part. This has a little gap right here, and that's going to be my front. So I'm going to open it up, and I'm actually going to just put a little dot right here so you can see. A dot on this one, not on this one, the second one. A little dot on the third, if I'm counting this way, and a dot on the fourth. So a dot, no dot, a dot, a dot. The ones with the dot, we're going to remove. So I've got my scissors, and I'm going to cut. Now, I'm going to cut below this fold that you can see. I've highlighted it with the ink. So trimming it down like this, and then right here. So now we look just like this. We're going to remove this one now. So I'm going to remove the fold. And I'm going to remove the fold here. So further down, I want to cut it just like that. So now we look like this. Super cool, right? Save your little pieces. You're gonna want them. And I want to make this, now you could leave it like this, you could use your little thing and round your corners. I'm going to kind of take it more like a a, uh, tag, a, 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 one of the corners. I'm going to pop it right on the other side, and this just helps you get it even so that one corner is not a different angle than the other, and that would definitely have happened to me if I wouldn't do that. So inking this up to make everything go together, and I am using the Vintage Photo Distressed ink. All right, so now we look just like this. It's time to bring in our dishes. I've already decorated one. I decorated the blue one. So I am using some Tim Holtz ephemera labels from, I think they're from Chapter 1 papers, a little safety pin, and some Sari silk from Crimson Heart Studios, baker's twine, and a portfolio closure. So remember I said save your little pieces? Well, I'm going to bring my little guillotine in, and we're going to trim our pages here, or a little, it is a page, but we're going to trim out. I'm just looking to see maybe something like that, and then I'm going to trim out, or trim off, I should say, the fold. And I think I need to trim this end. The other end's pretty nice, but this end needs a little trim. All right, and then let's work on this one. All right, so then what you'll want to do is I actually have this tag punch, and these fit perfectly in the 1.5 inch little spot. I'm going to make 2 of these into a tag. Now you could make all of these into a pocket. That one's not quite as big as, yeah, these 2 are smaller. Hopefully it'll work out. It worked out perfect. All right, so I've got 2 tags. Now we had 3 of these, so you actually could put 3 if you wanted. You know, you might make them into tags, 3 pockets. But I chose to make 1 pocket, and then I want to have my tags as part of my ephemera that I'm going to pop into my pocket. So with a little bit of inking to get myself ready here, brought my dishes in. I'm using my art glitter glue, and I'm going to glue down 3 sides here, and just glue it down to make a pocket. There we are. And my tag punch already punched a hole in my top of my tag, so now I'm just going to add a little bit of Sari silk, and I'm going to use my, I was looking for my smaller scissors. I'm going to use my hot glue gun. It's a Surebonder high tip with that specialty tip. And I'm going to glue these on in place. And the reason why I'm doing that is I really don't want the bulk of a knot. So what I mean by gluing my Sari silk in place is I'm just going to put a little bit of glue and then press my Sari silk into it and turn it on the other side and do the exact same thing. And I've got my tags, my Sari silk in place, but it's not going to add any bulk. And I'm going to turn, oh, I also wanted to round my corners on the bottom of my little tags here. It's not necessary, but I think it just really finishes them off nicely. There we go. Super cute, right? You've got your little tags in there, and I've got a little piece of ephemera, a little label here. I'm going to pop this on. You can decorate your little tags. You could decorate this portion here. You could use stamps. You could add pieces of ephemera. You could add maybe some more of these. These are Tim Holtz, as I said before. So let's fold this up. So I've also noticed that I need to ink the very top of this to finish it off, because when I trimmed, I didn't go back and ink that out. There we go. Now that's all inked up. Let's go ahead and go to the front. So we just fold it in, and then we fold it in. I can see that I haven't inked up, so let me do that as I go here. Then we'll get it all folded up. What a lovely piece of ephemera with lots of journaling spots, right guys? Now, we're going to decorate this, and we're going to add a little closure. Let's decorate it with a little bit of Sari silk going right down the edge here. There we are. I don't know what's going on with my voice. Okay. Let's trim. I think I'm going to glue this portion right here back on itself. Yeah, that fits more in line with what's going on here. That's a pretty color with that, isn't it? I've got a bird, a beautiful bird, and a label, and I think that would look lovely right on there. Using my art glitter glue, I'm going to actually glue my bird onto my label first, and then adding my glue to the back. All right, I like how that's turning out. I have some circles that I have already put together for a portfolio closure. And what you'll want to do is you'll want to get a hole punch. Now mine is, or circle punch, mine is 1 inch. And you're gonna need 3 for one of these closures, this type of closure. Okay, so I've got my 3. This is cardstock. And you'll want to glue 2 of them together, so it makes it just a little sturdier, a little firmer. Now if you ink, then this is when you would want to ink up the edge of your circle. I have my awl. I have some brads. Brads don't say what size they are on the package, which I find to be very interesting. But these are smaller, a smaller size, I should say. So you've got the one that you've glued together and it's stronger, and then you've got the one that's just single layer. I put the one that is the stronger one on top, the doubled one on top, and then the single circle on the bottom, and I approximate where the center is. And I use my awl because these brads are so very tiny that if I would use my hole punch, then it would be way too big and my brad would just fall through the hole. I don't know if I made it big enough though. Yeah, I did. And then open up the prongs, and then I just use the back side, or the top side I should say, of my awl, and I really push it open. So there you have your piece that you're going to use for your closure. Now before I get this on here, I'm going to take just a piece of this Sari silk, and I'm going to put my little safety pin, and I'm just going to thread a little bit so it's on my little piece here. I just think it's easier to do, especially if it's just a small little piece. And I just want to use this as just a little bit of an accent, just for some interest. So maybe something like that. I'm going to put it at an angle. I'm going to actually move it over a little bit more because I don't want it in the way of my closure. A little bit more glue. And I'm just going to push that up like that. All right, that's pretty cute. That adds a little something else. So you're going to take your piece that you've made. So you've got all 3 of these circles together. And I like to set my piece of ephemera so that I can kind of gauge where the center is. If you're really good at eyeballing things, then you wouldn't need to do that. But sometimes I'm off, and then later it bothers me. So popping that right on there, glued it right on. I've got some baker's twine, and I'm going to put this through the 2 discs. And then I like to put my knot in the direction in which I'm going to pull my string, my whatever it is. Mine's baker's twine. Maybe yours is really string or ribbon. And I'm going to go around like that. And then I like to put a little knot at the end because baker's twine is 2 pieces and they're twisted together and they will untwist. And there you have it. I think these are super fun. And then you just undo it, lift it up, and then you've got all this space that you can journal on, write a note on. These are flat enough. You could send out in Happy Mail. You could pop them into a pocket or a belly band. I absolutely love these. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please give me a thumbs up. I invite you to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. I'll see you there, guys. Bye now.